Hi, it's day 7 on nine green candles. I was always using red before, but using green now. And as you can see, I have the marvelous Linda G here visiting to talk about this journey that we're all on, moving into a new time and a new place, into a new earth. And if you've been here before, you know we light candles. Linda, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
And
How you doing?
yeah, what I'm going to do
I'm
is
out here and it's pouring down rain right now again. Doggone it.
I know it's just
We just had hail, so it's the new earth is definitely happening.
yeah,
So
yeah.
weird. As last year I said, everybody's talking about the drought. Linda, what are you seeing? I said, I see floods. I
Well,
wish I hadn't seen floods.
Saturn has gone into Pisces, and Saturn
It's
likes
water. I mean,
restructure
Pisces
water.
is
hmm So we're going to go over and light the candles, and so that each of us can adapt to this. If you haven't been here before, these are the candles. We light one a day, and this year, since we chose cactuses and green candles as our symbol, we also just chose some desert stones, and these are selenite stones, and these are carved by the wind. They are not carved by a person. That little
isn't
rose,
it beautiful, you guys?
it's just unreal. I've seen one of those that's 3.5 feet across. It's just, they're unreal.
Whoa.
So anyway, we're going to light the candles, and before we do that, we're going to do the meditation about what we're going towards. We're heading towards equinox on the 20th, and we light these candles to help focus our own consciousness and to appreciate how, when we join together our intentions with like-minded beings, we are prepared to move Gaia, Mother Earth, and the new Earth into the emerging planetary patterns. First, by centering each individual's vibes with the coming times, and then by living with the awareness of our own strength, that it is part of the energy for the new Earth. We will feel free to romp and play on these uncharted seas when we gain our strength. And so this is day 1, day 2. I got smart when I started it this time. I didn't put it on the circly thing, and it makes it so much easier to light the candles.
Oh, I bet. Are those cactuses in there for real? Are those real
No,
cactuses?
those are made out of candle wax.
They look real.
Oh, I know. Well, cactuses kind of look waxy. And there's Linda's candle. That's the 6th day. And if you follow this pattern, if you can do this for anything, this is what we're doing it for this time. But it helps you, that 9-day pattern helps you bring in new patterns into your life. And so Linda and I were talking a little bit backstage about what's been going on here. If you've been watching the 9 candles, you know that it's something I come up with to match our energies to the ley lines. And Linda and I were talking about it. She's very aware, as anyone who has a pulse is, that the world's changing rapidly, and we're going to have a real fun spring. And right after this equinox on the 23rd, we're going to get a taste of Pluto going into Aquarius, and it's going to be over there till the middle of June. So when all those people keep saying, when's all this stuff going to happen? When's all this stuff going to happen? It's going to happen then. But what's more important is what's happening inside each one of us. Even if
Yes.
you're a skilled reader and you've been messing with this stuff forever, and you've, worked with crystals, worked with rocks, worked with cards, worked with just being, we're all changing. And everybody has to start from the point they're on, and we're ready to unify our energies. And that's what Pluto's going to do, because Aquarius is a sign of groups of people. And I think that's one of the things you've done most brilliantly, Linda, is point out to people how we're stronger when we're together,
Yes.
and we're stronger when we don't live in fear.
Yeah. Oh God, the fear messes us up
Mm-hmm.
every time. It is a natural phenomenon with a human being
Well,
based on when we were out killing animals and being attacked by animals. There's
mm-hmm,
a fear thing that changes our homeostasis within our own body. That's when you
mm-hmm,
get blood that rushes more to the brain and all that stuff. But walking around in fear, like I was raised in fear.
Mm-hmm.
It will deteriorate your whole self.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard, but you have to allow and have faith that this too shall pass.
That's right. And there's we're moving to a time where we can have less fear. Our vibrations are rising, and it's rising for everyone. And I think sometimes it's hard. I think if you've been afraid, if you've lived a lot of your life in fear, then
Right,
it's it's really hard to let the fear go, because the fear, calm.
right, right.
I used to tell people, I can't wait till I get old enough and adult enough that I don't have to be clever anymore. I'm sick of being clever. I I just want to kind of walk through a day without being clever, and I think we all want to walk through times now.
Well, that's why the guides, ever since I started with this, when they came into me, when I handed over my life and said, into thy hands I commend my spirit, because I said, if I die, I die. When
Hmm.
I let that go and stop being so in a state of what they call a state of resistance.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, no, no, I can't die. I have to. If you allow and accept and stand in faith, it's almost miraculous how things will change. It's
Hmm.
not that you can avoid the things of the world.
No.
There is Armageddon coming with a lot of people on this earth right now, based on just changes on the earth plane.
Hmm.
There's a lot of stuff going on. But if we can just know, first of all, don't be afraid of death.
Hmm.
Not that everybody's going to get hit with death, but sometimes that power of us being in that calm energy, and then be in grace for everything you have, and then ask for peace, ask for whatever it is, we as a nation or a peoples can actually prevent
Thanks.
some things happening. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
Well, I've heard some of the people who talk about our own personal energy, and when we get calm and we get our vibrations up into the upper levels, um, that if 2% of the entire earth could focus it that way, that energy would then sweep across the earth. That's why some people want to keep us in fear.
Oh, they love fear. That's how they can control you.
Right. And so if you realize this thing's not where I need to be, this is making my world not right, then you can bow out of that activity and move on and have a happier life. That's why I said to romp into uncharted seas. You can't go out into those uncharted seas scared. You
No,
have to go out into those saying with the wonder of a child, like romping or frolicking in a meadow, or, wow, what's going to be out here? Kids don't have that. Uh,
right,
I mean, when they're left to their best devices.
right, exactly.
And I lived a charmed childhood where I didn't have that kind of fear. Uh,
Yeah.
and so, um, in some ways, I never lost my power. I always kind of knew somebody else was running my life, and I was along for the ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a good
And
time.
truth is very important too. Be standing in truth.
Oh yeah.
Some people have a hard time with that. There was a great Eckhart Tolle thing I put on my community page. Um, hold on. The truth is inseparable from who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are the truth. If you look for it elsewhere, you will be deceived every time.
Mm-hmm.
The very being that you are is truth. Jesus tried to convey that when he said, I am the way and the truth and the life. Jesus speaks of the innermost I am, the essence identity for every man and woman, every life form and fact. He speaks of life that you are. Christian mystics may call it the Christ within. Buddhism call it your Buddha nature. For Hindu, it's Atman, the indwelling God. So that truth, that connection, that flame,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you stand in it,
And
it'll even help you see the truth.
well, once I started really being heavy duty and reading and working with the stones and building grids and touching people's lives and kind of creating this web around everything, um, I was I always felt like something was going to swoop in, knowing I would be alone. And then one day I woke up and I was just sitting in my chair and I was going through my life's journey and how I got here. And all of a sudden, I realized I was never going to be alone. My guides all gathered around me and they showed me the whole universe and how everything just sings. It was a music I've never heard,
Uh-huh.
and it sings to you. And I would wish that for everyone who's going to this new consciousness. We need to hear a lot more people hearing that choir before we can move forward. And I was told that was my mission to be here. I'd been here through so many times that I knew, but this life was the one that I really had to get past. The you're never alone.
Yeah, and I always tell people when I was used to do readings too, that there's so many people out there that think they're alone. It's like their guides are saying, "We're here, we're right here."
Yeah, and you just have to reach out and not, even if you feel like a fool, reach out. The fool's the first card in the tarot deck. Go off that cliff, do that fool thing.
Yeah,
Connect to our higher powers, because this is the time of the new earth. I mean, we've never had so many major outer planets shift in a year as we have in this year, or will have by the end of this year, and in very magnificent ways. And the patterns of the stars have been telling us this for 2 years. Do you know enough astrology to understand the Jupiter Saturn conjunction?
no, a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I talked to Andre
yeah,
every.
I know. He's such a sweet man. This happens every 20 years. And when I was 18 and I was taking my first, dipping my little toes into astrology, I was at a free university class, and this man said, on in January of 2020, at the first degree of Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn will unite, and they will unite in air. He said, all of you have been born in Earth. They meet every 20 years, they meet in a sign. The only time that they didn't meet in Earth in the last 200 years was in 1980. And that set up the cycle for us to have the digital world come in. And they met in air, which is where they are now. And he said, so on that date in January, he said, you are young enough, you'll be alive potentially to go out and look at the meeting in the sky, because we're switching into another 200-year different paradigm. So the day that happened, I went out, and I live by a golf course, and it happened at a really good time of night. And I went out and stood in the middle of the golf course and watched them up in the sky together. And I said, somebody told me when I was 18, I'd see this, And then I went home, and sure enough, a lot of stuff is a lot of, even though we thought the digital age was accelerating, it's accelerating so much more. And we got rid of the old paradigm, which was being tied to Earth, which was being tied to what you could manufacture, what you could make. Them meeting in Earth actually brought in the Industrial Revolution, which brought a people separating them from the land. And one of the other things I study, Linda, is the elementals, the fairies, the pixies, the unicorns, the dragons.
Right,
And I talked to their energy, and we could see them before Jupiter and Saturn. I mean, that when they tell the old tales in Ireland about going across the glen and seeing the fairies, they really could, because their vibration was higher. As
right.
soon as we had that unity of Jupiter and Saturn into Earth, we moved away from the land, we moved into the industrial part of things, and people lost their ability to see the wee folk and the other guidance. And now that's going to be one of the fun things, is we're going to be able to go back out and see them.
So right now, the Jupiter Saturn is what?
They're in air. They will meet.
They're in air.
Ask Andre, he'll explain it. They'll meet every 20 years. They'll meet in air. And then somewhere in that 200-year cycle, they'll meet in the next sign they're going into, and you'll see a little glimpse. This is kind of like what we're seeing with Pluto going into Aquarius. You'll see a glimpse of what's going to happen, then it's going to go back to Capricorn. We saw a little glimpse of that in 1980, and then we had to wait till 2020 to see it
Wow.
finish. And life is full of those cycles. And when you avail yourself of that kind of information, you can work with the energy that's around you,
Right,
as opposed to fighting it.
right.
And, I welcome everyone into a higher state of consciousness. I think um, it's so interesting one of the people who's speaking in the Nine Candles is a businesswoman who decided to change her paradigm. She studied Reiki, healing, a lot of other stuff. and she's going to create a health center. And I mean,
Right.
it's a complete change from where she was 5 years ago.
You
She
see
got,
that a lot.
she
Yeah.
got the nudge. And a lot of people are going to get nudged.
Well, I've been doing the prayers, for everyone
I
for
know.
a
I
couple of
know.
weeks. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe the feedback because they said, well, at least I believe Jesus said this. Now, you more than one of you come in my name, they'll
Mhm.
answer that prayer. And sure enough, that people are saying, "Oh my God, Linda, I had you pray for my son, and this happened and that, all kinds of good news." So I was like, "Whoa,
I
I
know.
think it works."
We have all different ways. You can touch people, and we can touch each other. And don't think that you're going to have to wait till Linda and I come and tell you what to do. You know, you need to figure out one of the reasons why the elementals came to me to help talk about bringing them forth is because I was into earth energies and I knew where there were ley lines, and so they felt like I was connected to that part of them. But they told me the real reason they wanted me to is because I've taught a lot of rituals, just little things like lighting the candles or putting gold stones outside your door to help energy move in, things to help you move energy around your life. And they said people need to do that now, and they're going to feel driven to do it, and they're going to and praying, like you said, coming together with
Yeah,
others in prayer,
right.
real prayer, not praying on Sunday so you can be seen in your best dress.
No.
I'm never in my best dress on Sunday.
No, no, no. I just got dressed today because I was with Sterling. Now I'm with you. If it
Oh
was up
yeah.
to me, I'd be in my jammies all day.
Oh, well, when the time changed, when I realized I set this up on a time change, I went, oh crap.
Oh, I know, I know. My dogs, fortunately, I woke up and it was 6:15, but it was actually 7:15.
Hmm.
And the dogs were ready to go. So now they're going to think 7:15 is the time, which is good for me because they were always having me up at 5 or 6.
Oh, ugh. See, that's why you have a cat. And if they come and they bug you too much, you just knock them off the bed and say,
Yeah, they have a little potty place to go. My dogs have to go outside, and I'm out there in the rain cleaning up, you know
oh,
what?
I know. That's why I don't have a dog. That's why I have a cat.
And these dogs go like big men do. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've always had, you have mid-sized dogs or big dogs?
Yeah, mid-size.
Hmm. Mid-sized dogs, you may as well just get a big one. It's the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they're really love bugs. They're labradoodles, so
Hmm.
they don't
Oh, okay.
shed, and they listen to me, but they stare at me all the time, which drives me nuts. They're very needy, and that's hard for me because I can't, even my own kids, I'm like, get off of me.
Yeah, I know. Mom's gotta have some space here.
I gotta have some space. I like my downtime.
I do. How's your downtime now that you're reading less?
Oh, it's better. It's better, but I still have a lot of work. For some reason,
Every time I turn the tubes on, you're on there.
and I get a lot of invites, and I hate to turn anybody down, but I'm going to have to kind of stretch it out because it seems like every day I have some other person that needs me to be on their show. And then I have my book that I got a lot of work done with while I was in Malibu. And then I have my income tax, which I was working on last night. And it's a lot of details. PayPal has decided they don't need to send you a 1099 anymore. And that's how I got the monies for the events. They used
Oh
to send me a thing, a
my
1099,
God.
and it was right there. So they're saying, no, you don't qualify because it's something you need 200 or something.
200
And
entries?
200 entries, like I only have uh maybe 100 if that.
Mm.
And so I called my tax guy. I'm like, well, whoa, okay, so I don't have to report what I made from PayPal. He said, no, you're going to have to go back to the bank and you're going to have to look at all your transfers from PayPal to the
Hmm.
bank, and we'll use that.
Well, that's what I have. That's what my tomorrow is I have to print off all my bank statements and
Mhm.
all my statements from this structure I use to collect funds, for my readings and
Yes.
for my and I Shopify, thank God. They do all the sales tax, so I don't have to do that.
Oh, good.
But and they're real easy. You can just pull it off as an Excel sheet, but I have to pull all that together. And I do have a master's in accounting and computer science. So I really feel awful paying somebody to add all that stuff up for me. I know how to do that. So that's my job tomorrow is to start doing that. But
Well, I was lucky. That is my cousin, my tax man,
oh,
and I've been
good.
paying all these people to do my taxes. He's an actual, well, he's a CPA, and my family, we own oil.
Mm-hmm.
We have lands that belong to my mother that are being, leased.
That's your tribal land.
It's tribal land because my mom's youngest brother died, and then his father inherited the land, and then they were selling the land because he was in a home, and my mom bought a chunk of it. She didn't want the white man to get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm. Not our
So,
money.
but now us kids own it. But the thing is, we have to, uh, make sure that apparently there's a lot of depreciation with land like that, and he
Oh,
knows all the details. Because
yeah,
we
there
also
is.
have native land. We also make money from my great 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 grandfather's land,
Mm-hmm.
but that is tribal land. You don't pay taxes on tribal land.
No, but I used to figure out the leases. Was one of the jobs I had when I was going through graduate school. I worked for an oil company, and once a year I would go in and take all the leases like yours and figure out the percentages and all that stuff and get it to you so you could use it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, yep.
And I
Now, when
have,
I get the thing from these separate companies, it's like for the year it was $212. Back in the old days, it'd be all kinds of money. But
oh, I
yeah,
know.
it's better. For me, it is.
Well, it's there. That's better.
Yeah,
That's 212 you wouldn't have.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
So, so that's what you're going to do in the emergence of the new consciousness. You're going to do your taxes.
I'm going to do my taxes. And I think the writing is really it's going to be helpful because that energy that I'm feeling, I'm not in fear, but I do that shifting, I can feel it.
Mm-hmm. Well, when every time someone's reading your book, they're feeding into your energy,
That's true.
and they're giving you the energy back. That's the lovely thing about sharing parts of your story with people.
Right, right. So that's what I'm working on. And it also brings up memories of things I probably would like to forget, but it's truth.
Well, yeah, I took a 1 year course where you went through and you once a week you wrote stuff and you kind of started. I was a baby, and by the end of the year, you'd gotten up to being an adult, and it was really very good because it cleared out a lot of images I'd see in my mind, and I went, "What the hell did that come from?" And then in thinking through those earlier parts of my life, I'd realize, oh, that's what it is. And
Okay.
it's, I mean, so, and you're just doing it, but very publicly.
There you go. My dirty laundry, my size 2, what is it? My JC Penney's, what is that? What do I call it? Double wides. My
Oh,
JC Penney double wides are out there. Do you know somebody sent me some JC Penney double wides underwears?
oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
and I mean they're like, yay.
Okay, that's big. I mean, it's like when you after you've had a kid and you're kind of weaning yourself off your maternity underwear, and then you throw it in a drawer, and then 2 years later you pull it out and you go, "Whoa,
I know.
this is so girl talk."
I
Anyway,
know.
so for all of you who are going through this change and going and understanding this, we're grateful you're here. And we are going to now blow out the candles. And this is, if you do you have anything else you want to add, Linda, or are you just ready to?
I just want everybody to have peace in their heart and not to be
Right.
afraid as best as they can.
When do you do your prayer thing? Do you do it at a specific time?
I do it every other Tuesday.
Every other
So
Tuesday.
I did it last week. So next, a week from this Tuesday.
Okay.
Plus,
Well,
we're having another Armageddon storm coming in. I might not have any kind of, I've been having my cable come in and out.
yeah, we had an 80-mile-an-hour wind that hit us a couple weeks ago, and we've never. That's like hurricane level, right? I
Where was
thought
this
of
at?
in Dallas.
Oh, you're still in Dallas. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it sounded like a 747 was landing outside of my driveway, and it lasted for like 5 minutes, and then it went away, and we went looking out, and there had been a really hideous, real true tornado go across where I live now several years ago. It got rid of all the trees that would have fallen over. So this time it was just lots of branches and leaves in places their branches and leaves wouldn't be. But it was, and we had a crazy hailstorm with that. And hail we're used to here, but it was just insane. I mean, the weather has just been nuts, and like
Well, you see why. It's part of the prophecy, but pray for well-being, pray for
pray
good.
for us and pray for the 80-mile-an-hour winds to be in somebody else's yard.
The winds are really going to be a problem too.
I know.
So,
I know. So anyway, we're going to go blow out the candles
okay.
and okay. Linda's candles. And you see the smoke floating up to
Yeah.
the heavens. I was taught we lit candles as a matter of prayer at my church, and they used to tell us that that smoke is wafting up and carrying the prayers on up to the heavens.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Hmm. And I want to thank you for joining us today. It was
Thank you. Thank you
lovely
for
for you to
having
be
me.
here. And everybody listen to Linda and I, and we kind of have a little step up on you, because we've been doing this a little bit longer, but some of you are just going to hit this and you're going to hit it running,
Yeah.
and you're going to learn.
And if you get frightened or if you're not sure, try not to overthink it
Mhm.
and ask for help. Tell them, look, I'm not quite sure what this is. What exactly is this?
Yeah, and ask for a sign. Say, and you'll see something that's warm and comforting, and you'll get along. And
They'll give
we're
you
all
one.
moving into the new age, into the new earth. Thank
Yep.
you for being here. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sweetheart. You